I'll decide when we start, okay? Just so we're all clear on that.
Hang on, but it's advertised to start at 6.
It's now 6:01.
5:59 now.
Well, I declare the meeting open at 6:01 and advise members of the public that the meeting's being live streamed in accordance with the city's live streaming and recording policy, and by being in attendance you consent to the city recording and live streaming their image or voice. Deputy Mayor, please welcome us to country.
Thank you, Worship. I'll begin by acknowledging my elders past and present. Ngalak nyirin kura ngala nois nijin nunga buja, nunga mutjar per nijin and a quabrak nunga buja kuralong. From the beginning of time to the end, this is Noongar country. Noongar people have been graceful keepers of our nation for many, many years. Jinajin Kadajin Jerpa Nijawer Noongar Buja Ngala Maya Border. Look, listen, understand and embrace all the elements of Noongar country that is forever our home. Kai wan jungan ko Jerpa Nijin Noongar Buja Darli Wang in Noongar Buja. Hello and welcome. My heart is happy as we gather on country and meeting here on Noongar country.
It gives me great pleasure in welcoming you all here. Before commencing proceedings, I would like to acknowledge that we come together tonight on the traditional lands of the Noongar people and pay our respects to elders past and present. Could I call upon Councillor Brown to read the dedication?
Thank you, Your Worship. May we, the elected members of the City of Kwinana, have the wisdom to consider all matters before us with due consideration, integrity and respect for the Council Chamber. May the decisions made be in good faith and always in the best interest of the greater Kwinana community that we serve.
Attendance, apologies, leave of absence previously approved, nil. Public question time, there are no questions from the public. Petitions, councillors, presentations, there's no deputations. Confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 22nd of July 26. Moved Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Wood. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Declarations of interest. Request for leave of absence.
Thank you, Worship. Leave request for 18th of September to the 23rd of the 9th of September 2026 inclusive. I'll be travelling interstate.
So moved that way. Moved Councillor Sargent, seconded Councillor Acker. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Nothing on item 10, nothing on item 11. Item 12, 12.1 minutes of the Bullamara Aboriginal Consultative Committee held on the 3rd of August. Is there any additional information? Questions? Someone move that way. Moved Councillor Sargent, seconded Deputy Mayor. Either councillors wish to speak? Yes, Councillor Sargent.
Thank you, Mayor Feasey. I was moved by the sentiments of the Bullamara Council, especially with the regard to the mental health issues and the lack of respite for carers in the community, and that believe that council, where possible, it would be fantastic for us to advocate for our community in this space with the public health plan objectives to the state government. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Nothing further, Worship.
Anyone speak against? For the motion to vote, all those in favour? Against? So carried. Sorry, my computer's just stopped working. It's asked for a code. Uh, 12.2 minutes of the Audit and Risk Improvement Committee held on the 20th of July. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Questions? Someone like to move that way? Move Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Sargent. Either councillors wish to speak?
Yes, please.
Councillor Sargent.
Thank you, Mayor Feasy. I would just like to especially mention in the audit and risk the City of Kwinana's work, health and safety strategic plan, and commend the CEO and all the team involved for proactively adding enhanced KPIs to ensure that all of our staff follow the get home safely every day principle. This is very high quality, and the care to the people on the ground that are delivering our services. I just highly commend the team, and this is a fantastic way to show the safety culture of our city.
Anyone speak against? Put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Nothing on item 13, 14, 15 or 16. 17.1, proposed road dedication to main roads, Anketel widening project. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr. Mayor.
Questions from councillors? Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the agenda, it speaks to how the mains road is currently undertaking assessments and how they haven't come back yet. So my question is simply, is this a situation of horse before the cart, and if not, why not?
So the state government's allocated $1 billion to upgrade Anketel from Abercrombie through to Westport, and to do so, this is what needs to occur.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Penny.
Thank you. And there were quite a few questions flying around throughout this item, and I appreciate all the answers provided by the city. I'm still not really clear, and I'd like you to elaborate on that answer, why this has come to council now, and why we're not waiting for more detail and environmental approvals, or a fuller report.
I'm sure Mr. Elkins can probably answer it, but we have been trying to gift the main roads this road for many years, so it's not something that is new to the city.
I will say it's new to me as an elected member, the detail of this, so thanks.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, this is a purely administrative process that is a result of a quirk in the Land Administration Act. Environmental issues, it's not council's area to play in. There's state government agencies and federal agencies that are tasked with that. They carry the legislation, they're responsible. We are being asked to facilitate a process to tidy up land tenure around Anketel Road, which ultimately will need to be done for when we hand the road over. That's the whole purpose of the report.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the other point to be aware on this council is, first off, the area sits within the state development area, so the government has a range of powers in terms of the development which can occur with that place. Any of the work which takes place, particularly around environmental works and the road winding, sit outside that area, so it's not part of this paper, so we have no control over those anyway.
Any other questions? Councillor Brown, you thinking you might have a question?
Always thinking, Your Worship. So in the report, it does talk about some proposed amendments to the approval boundary to significantly reduce impacts to high-value vegetation and black cockatoo habitat. So I guess there's some additional commitments that have been made along the way. Does the city, I guess as the current steward of the land, have any levers to pull in the future to make sure that these type of things kind of happen as ratepayers, I guess, would expect?
Through the Mayor, so the city has been working very closely with the project team, and it was actually the project team led the process to reduce the impact on the environment, partly because it's the right thing to do, and partly because when you impact the environment, you've got to make good in some way. So the mechanism to ensure the make good happens will be through the legislation. So to do the clearing that needs to be done to facilitate the works, they'll need a state approval as well as a federal approval, and both will have conditions of approval. One of the things that occurred as part of anticipation of doing clearing works for the Anketel Road works and also for any other clearing related to the port works into the future was the acquisition of private land that had substantial environmental values. So they in effect have already made good on the clearing that they will do. So the city doesn't need to do anything. The state government and the federal government will make sure of that, but in reality they have already done it, as well as at the same time they've worked very closely with the city to limit the amount of clearing that needs to be done. So as an example, the original plan for Westport was a substantial intersection into the latitude 32 area. Working with the city and then consulting with the landowners in that area, we agreed to reduce that access to absolutely limit the amount of clearing and provide an alternative access to the east of the latitude 32 area.
Thank you very much. And just an additional question I had was around the offsets, environmental offsets that may be required as part of this process. Is there, is the city kind of advocating for any offsets within that would be kind of offsetted within the City of Kwinana boundaries, if that makes sense?
So I believe that the government has actually acquired a significant lot in relation to the offsets, but I think there's currently, is there still confidentiality over that?
I'm unsure, Mr Mayor, so I was deliberately not saying the name of the lot, but I think councillors are aware that the state government has acquired a lot. So it is within the boundary. Normally the conditions of approval require the making good to be within the vicinity anyway, so it will be a requirement of the approvals they get that they do have to do it within the city.
Any other questions? Councillor Sargent?
Can I just ask a question out of point of interest when you were talking about make good and that the state or federal run and agencies, who is the, I guess, auspicing governance of a make good agreement? Like, I assume someone has a register somewhere of these. Is that the local government is aware of them, or is that held with, I don't know, the Department of Lands, or the, do we have any sort of understanding of when an environmental offset occurs? Who is the, I guess, overarching organisation that, like you said, ensures the compliance?
Through you, Mr Mayor, it depends on whether it's a state or federal approval. In this case, it will be both. So in the case of a state approval, it's the Department of Water something and regulation, environment and regulation. So they issue the approvals, they keep records of the approvals, and they ensure compliance. So we have certainly got experience of DWER enforcing various parts of their legislation. At a federal level, there's an equivalent environmental agency that issues the approval and also ensures compliance. And, you know, and the separate level of government, they will absolutely make sure that there is compliance. And then the agency that receives the approval, in the same way as if the local government receives the approval, they are then responsible for making sure that compliance is achieved and reporting on that, which normally when we have an approval, we also have to feed back to the agency how we will meet the requirements of the approval before we clear.
Thank you. It's good to know there's oversight.
Councillor Penny?
Thank you. Through you, Mr Mayor. There was just a comment there before that environmental protection is not the remit of the local government, but do we not have a role in advocacy? Is that not a key component to advocate for the natural environment and represent our local community in that regard?
Through the Mayor, the comment was with regard to the report before council. This report is not with regard to the environment. This is a administrative process as a result of a quirk of the Land Administration Act to tidy up some land tenure. We are heavily involved in advocating for the environment, and as I have mentioned earlier, the city worked very closely with the major project team to limit the amount of clearing required as part of these works. Ultimately, the road, it's a commitment that's well known. There was a original design that has been reduced to limit the environmental clearing requirements, but at the same time achieve the best possible outcome. The CEO and I think the Mayor was heavily involved in and also our previous planning director in advocating for a particular private piece of land being acquired by the state government for the purpose of the offset. And I think we're very happy that that is a substantial positive environmental outcome. So we absolutely are involved in the advocacy, but in terms of approvals and oversight, that's not our area.
So just to clarify, once this administrative task is done, our hands are washed of this process and this parcel of land. Like, as elected members and as a community, we have no more remit or recourse to have oversight over the offset plan, to ensure that the commitments made around, for example, limiting the potential toxic waste or spillage that might come off the road and run into the spectacles, these kinds of things along Anketel Road. Once we hand over this parcel of land, our job is done, and it's now all with Main Roads and the state government and the federal government oversight. Is that correct?
Through the chair, this is a quirk of land tenure. It has nothing to do with oversight, whether it's council advocating or the state or federal government enforcing their law. The fact is we don't need to do this for the state government to enter the land. Ultimately it's their land. We have a management order over Crown land, so the land doesn't belong to us. We are responsible for it for as long as the state government allows us to be responsible. So the spectacles, it isn't our land, it's state government managed, but we still advocate for the spectacles, as does other state government agencies like the DBCA, which are also part of working with the major project team to ensure positive environmental outcomes for the spectacles.
One more question, if I may. The report presented really focused on that intersection, and to the credit to the officers and the administration involved, and the advocacy that occurred, and most probably through some of the public submissions that occurred, a huge document about this road upgrades available on the EPA website. That some significant wins have been made in terms of limiting the clearing of that land, and I really commend everybody involved, both on a state and local government level, for your advocacy around that. And I guess the report really focused on that win and what had happened around that intersection. But I, as an elected member, really don't have a good sense of what happens beyond that parcel, stretching, the impacts of this road and all the influences and considerations from the Kwinana Freeway down to Leith Road. And also, as this is like a sort of a small piece of a much larger jigsaw puzzle, and we're just focusing on one little bit. And my sense and my instinct is that we can't fairly look at this without being briefed and understanding the bigger picture that it's a part of, and how all of these pieces fit together, and the cumulative environmental impacts, and also what that looks like for our road network moving forward. So you'll gather that there's significant hesitation from me around progressing with this at this moment, because there are too many questions for me. And I'm really, my last question will be, I'm still really unclear about the specific timeliness of it coming to council now, and why it can't wait until after October, when council is actually briefed by Main Roads and we do get a sense of that bigger picture.
Through the chair, trying to form a question out of the statement. Again, this is not a report on asking council to make a decision on the environment. We don't have any decision-making power in that space. It's state government legislation, it's federal government legislation. Ultimately, it's not our land. The land is Crown land. We have a management order over. We're being asked to make an administrative decision to kick off a process to tidy up land tenure. If we don't do this, it will hold up the handing over of the ultimate road, but won't hold up the environmental approval processes. It won't hold up the construction of the road, because we're not the decision maker in any of those places. The only place we have a decision to make is tidying up land tenure. And as I noted before, it's because of a quirk in the Land Administration Act, because ultimately roads that aren't main roads are city roads or local government roads. So we're given that power to request the minister to dedicate the land. So this report is unrelated to the environment.
Councillor Acker.
Apologies, I don't mean to prolong the process even more. By handing the road back over to the state, how much money is that going to save the ratepayers of the city, roughly, in maintenance costs?
Significant, I would have thought.
Yeah, through the chair, I haven't calculated this for several years, but Ankertel Road, it's the highest cost road in our local government. It is a substantial saving to no longer be responsible for it. It carries heavy vehicles. It's very expensive to maintain because everything is, not only is it night works, but it has to be night works on a weekend that doesn't clash with the motorplex because of the amount of traffic through the motorplex. So everything we do is high cost on a very busy road that requires high cost solutions, so it is a substantial saving to hand the road to the state.
Any other questions? If not, I'll put the if there, Councillor Penny.
Can I move an alternate motion?
If you're moving something, you can.
Yeah, I'd like to move an alternate motion that this item is deferred until council is fully briefed in October.
Is there a seconder? With the absence of a seconder, the motion. Councillor Brown? Are you seconding it? I'll second it. Okay, seconded Councillor Brown. Would you like to speak?
Yeah. There is hesitation for me around this, and that is enough for me to want to move this motion. To the credit of my colleagues on council, multiple questions were raised about this item in the lead up to tonight's meeting, and to the credit of the administration and the executive, they were responded to quickly and each one was addressed. However, this also reinforced my own sense that council had not been sufficiently briefed on this item, and that the report did not contain the detail required for me and maybe others to grasp the scope and influencing factors around this decision. This proposal is, as I said, a piece of a much bigger and vastly more complex infrastructure project. It has long-term impacts and benefits for our local community, the broader Southwest metropolitan region and our state. As elected members, we have obligations under the Act to ensure that we are well informed and can, in good faith, vote for this item. And I feel like I can't do that without a clear picture of the overall strategy and an understanding of the environmental impacts and remediations. I still don't really have a clear answer as to the timeliness, like the difference between passing this now and if it's an administrative process and it's, I think almost like an arbitrary administrative process, like what's the difference in waiting for a few months when those, public submissions and, a bunch of that sort of work is progressed from the EPA and the various departments who are looking at this. So I'm still, I'm resolved around why this decision is coming to us now, when there's potentially more information coming down that we could, tick this box and be very clear and firm in what we're doing. And to Councillor Acker's point, this road will get handed over to the state. I am not opposing this project. It's a major infrastructure project. What I'm advocating for is really good governance, that we ensure that we have all the information that we require to make these really big decisions. And I urge my fellow councillors, if there is a smidging of doubt in your mind, this is the time to actually say, hang on, we want more information, we want to be fully briefed, and we really want to be across this before we do this administrative process to hand the road over to the state government. If we have a small amount of power in this process, let's hold on to it and use it to advocate for the highest environmental values that we can, as is communicated in all of our values in our strategic plans. So that's why I'm moving this amendment to the motion. I haven't heard anything in the conversation yet to say that this will, completely blow Westport out of the water. I don't think that's the case at all, but I think it is a stand for for good governance and a clear process. And I urge my fellow councillors to support me in this.
Councillor Brown? Speak against? I'll speak against then. I think the information that the officers have provided to council is fairly clear in the process, as Mr Elkins has alluded to through the questioning that he has answered, that this is an administrative process. The report quite clearly tells us why we're doing it. I don't think that we could be provided with any more information to change the position. Again, it's Crown land which we're currently managing. We have for, I would imagine, I think it's about probably 10 years at the very least, have tried to give it back to Main Roads for the simple fact that the cost of maintaining that road is something that our ratepayers are currently servicing. I guess we probably do get some grants, but still it is a cost to the city. So I actually don't see what more information that hasn't been provided could be provided, to be quite frank. Anyone to speak?
Sorry, Mr. Lindsay, I'm not sure if it's a point of order, just obviously once we had got to the point. In this agenda item that was...
Sorry, can you turn your microphone on?
Under financial budget implications, it clearly states there are no direct financial or budget implications for the city arising from this proposal. Main Roads Western Australia will be responsible for all costs. But then underneath asset management, the next bit, it says the Ankletail Road is under the care, control and management of Main Roads, and the responsibility for all maintenance, renewal and future upgrading of the remote road remains with Main Roads. So is that information presented to us not correct if the city is paying? Because I actually had financial questions, but then when I read that part, I removed them.
At this point in time, in the future, they will be responsible for the maintenance of it.
So if this item passes, they will be responsible for all future costs in relation to Ankletail Road.
To that section of Ankletail Road.
So is anyone that's speaking for the motion? No? Did you want to close, Councillor Penny?
Yeah, thank you. I think I believe council should insist on being fully briefed about this and have the right to impose further conditions to protect the local environment if we aren't satisfied with the ministers and the EPA approvals, or the state and the federal approvals. Through that, we do maintain a little bit of, we keep our right to be in the conversation. I want to be really clear with my colleagues. I'm not in any way opposing this road being handed over to the state, you know, or the administrative process. What I'm advocating for is clear governance and more information, and retaining our power or say in this for as long as we can, so that we can, you know, if we're not happy with the remediations and safeguards that are in place, that we can advocate and push for a better result. You know, as soon as we've signed off on it, we're sort of out of the picture and out of the equation. So I still haven't heard any evidence that deferring the item will cause major disruption to the Westport initiative. I urge my fellow councillors to make a stand for good governance. Cheers.
Okay, I think we need to be clear. The minister can take it with a stroke of a pen. So I'll put the motion to the vote, which is to defer the item, just so we're clear on what we're voting on. So for those people that are wanting to vote for a deferral, all those in favour? Against? Motion lost. Do we have a mover of the original officer's recommendation? Moved Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Acker. Either councillors wish to speak? Councillor Acker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I partially actually agree with Councillor Penny. I think there was a lot of confusion on the item. Because there wasn't enough information is why so many questions were asked in the background and at this meeting. I think to my satisfaction, those questions have been answered, but we don't have the same level of information that you might have, which is why I think we were confused. But I appreciate the answers tonight, and I support the motion if it's going to save the ratepayers money, and we don't have any impact on the environment anyways, which was concerning when I first went through the agenda. So yeah, I support the motion. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, fellow councillor, for her points of view on this motion, and I agree on the environmental aspects of it. But I travel that road every day, and this has been a long process of transitioning this land over and the care and the management of it. And it's irrelevant about the project, but it's about the savings to ratepayers and how we can get that road best be managed and utilised and used appropriately for the amount of the volume of the traffic that has increased just in the last 12 months. It would have quadrupled the traffic along that road, and to get out along that road now has become a bit of a bottleneck. So I think the earlier that we can arrangements for traffic management through that area and the transition of that piece of land for a road to go through and be upgraded and managed by the state, especially with such a high value initiatives, that will then open up and fast track progress through. That will add to the value of a fast growing suburb and industry that we have in Kwinana. So on that note, I support the officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anyone speak against? Put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. I propose to move items 18.1, 18.2, 18.3 and 18.4 on block. Does anyone have any questions in relation to any of those? If so, I'll flesh them out. If not, do we have a mover? Moved, Deputy Mayor. Seconded, Councillor Wood. Anything in relation to all those 4 items? No? Anyone against? Put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Item 19, there is nothing. Item 20, there is nothing. Do we have any late or urgent business?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Reports of elected members. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. Mayor, councillors, CEO, staff members, community members and members online, it is with profound sadness but also immense gratitude for a life so richly lived that I rise today to pay tribute to a remarkable woman, Dr. Millie Penny AM. Millie was a highly respected Aboriginal elder, a distinguished Western Australian leader, a proud Kwinana pioneer, and a member of one of the founding Aboriginal families of our district, the Wally family. Her life was one of extraordinary achievement, unwavering determination and selfless service to Aboriginal people, to West Australia, and to the community she loved so deeply. Millie's story is inseparable from the story of Kwinana itself. As one of the first Aboriginal residents to attend school in Kwinana, she understood from a young age that education had the power to change lives. At a time when opportunities for Aboriginal people were often limited, she courageously forged a path forward. Her dedication to community, culture, education and advocacy saw her recognised with some of our nation's highest honours. She was awarded an honorary doctorate in recognition of her outstanding contribution to society, was appointed a member of the Order of Australia, fitting acknowledgement of a life devoted to creating a better future for others. Despite all her achievements and accolades, she remained humble. Her achievements were recognised at the highest levels, the conferral of the honorary doctorate for advancements in community leadership, education and cultural understanding. The member for the Order of Australia was fitting for her service not only to Western Australia but the nation as a whole. Yet those titles and honours tell only part of the story. She never sought recognition for herself. Instead, she dedicated her energy to uplifting others, preserving culture, supporting young people and ensuring Aboriginal voices were heard, respected and valued. She was a bridge builder, bringing people together through understanding, compassion, wisdom, and genuine respect. To her family, Millie was a cherished matriarch whose strength, love, and guidance shaped generations. To her community, she was a respected elder whose wisdom was sought and valued. To Aboriginal people across Western Australia, she was a powerful advocate who worked tirelessly to ensure that culture, history, and identity were preserved, celebrated, and respected. For many of us, Millie was far more than a respected elder and community leader. She was a mentor, a teacher, and a trusted friend. For me personally, her passing leaves an enormous void. She often referred to me as her little brother, a title I carried with great pride and deep affection. Her guidance, encouragement, and wisdom influenced my life in countless ways. She was always generous with her time, always willing to share a story, offer advice, or provide perspective grounded in culture, experience, and love for her community. One piece of wisdom that Millie often shared, and I now carry and share, is to never forget who you are, where you come from, and the responsibility you have to make life better for those who come after you. Those words captured the very essence of who she was. Millie never forgot her roots, never lost sight of her responsibility to her people, and never stopped creating opportunities for future generations. I feel truly blessed to have known her and to have been welcomed into that special bond. Her belief in people had a way of lifting them up and inspiring them to be their best selves. She led not through authority but through kindness, integrity, and example. Across Kwinana and throughout Western Australia, there are countless people whose lives have been touched by Millie's leadership. Her legacy lives on through the students she inspired, the families she supported, the cultural knowledge she shared, and the many pathways she helped create for future generations. She brought people together through understanding, compassion, and mutual respect, championing reconciliation long before it became a national conversation, helping Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal Australians walk forward together with greater knowledge and appreciation of our shared history. Millie was a trailblazer, a model, a cultural leader, and cherished daughter of Kwinana. She will be greatly missed and fondly remembered. Farewell. Thank you for your friendship, your guidance, your wisdom, your unwavering belief in our people. Kwinana is a better place because of your life's work, and I am a better person for having walked a part of that journey with you. Your legacy will live in the hearts of our community and generations you inspired. A proud Noongar woman, respected elder, Kwinana pioneer, educated trailblazer, and matriarch whose legacy will inspire generations. Thank you, Millie, for your leadership. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your service. Thank you for showing future generations what is possible. On behalf of the City of Kwinana, I extend our deep condolences to the Wally and Penny families, extended families, friends, and all those who mourn her passing. Today we honour her remarkable life, celebrate her immense contribution, and give thanks for her legacy she leaves behind. May we continue to walk the path created, guided by her example and inspiration. May she rest in peace and be continued to guide and inspire generations to come. Vale, Dr. Millie Penny AM. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Acker.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Along with Mr. Elkins and some city staff, on behalf of the mayor, I got to present the Community Group of the Year Award to Feed It Forward, a group based out of Medina who rescue food from major food outlets and redistribute that food to those most in need. That was a credit to Monica and her group there, so that was a privilege to do so. I've made it to a couple citizenship ceremonies, the Minderoo signing launch, the golf club meeting, and seniors meeting. The seniors are currently looking for a new secretary. Their secretary had to step down due to some health concerns. And they've also, with the help of the city, agreed to go through some governance training, which they were really receptive to. So there's going to be a group come up from Dawesville, I believe, to help them learn how to run their meetings and what they're actually responsible for, and to have better meetings moving forward. So, thank you.
Councillor Brown. Nothing to report. Councillor Miller.
Did a few things this month, but a lot with the mayor so I'm sure he'll touch on them. But the one thing I did do was, on behalf of Mayor Feasy, I attended the 40th anniversary for the King's College on behalf of the Mayor. So I just want to congratulate my old stomping grounds on 40 years.
Councillor Penny?
Thank you. I just want to thank Deputy Mayor Barry Winmore for that beautiful, incredibly moving tribute to Dr. Millie Penny, incredible woman, and my heart goes out to her family, those she loved and those who loved her. Her loss is huge in the community, and thank you for showing those sentiments. I went to an amazing event, the Make Room at the Table Loneliness Awareness Week event at the Ken Jackman Hall. It was a really, really beautiful, fun event, and I commend all involved in bringing that together. And yeah, what a remarkable community we live in, and I just want to reflect on that right now. You know, for the community champions and the people that make Kwinana an amazing place to live. You know, I just have a lot of gratitude for them, and that we get to live in this great place. Thanks.
Councillor Rouse?
Nothing to report, Your Worship.
Councillor Sargent? Councillor Wood?
Formal as duties required me, thank you, Your Worship.
There's nothing on item 23. 24 mayoral announcements. Probably the most significant thing that occurred this month was the signing of the Minderoo Agreement, which is an agreement where we'll be receiving the first local government in Australia to partner with Minderoo, and it's first part of the project is a $4 million grant to the city, and that was very well attended by the community service providers and some parents. We have attended quite a few citizenship ceremonies this month. What else have we done? We officially opened Jandu Maya last Friday, the new pavilion at Thomas Oval. That was good to see some of the local users of that facility there. The Seniors Archery Club were in attendance. On the 18th, I attended Vietnam Veterans Day, which also marked the 60th anniversary of the Battle of Long Tan. It was quite a small crowd at that service, but quite a moving service in actual fact. A local man, whose name has this gone completely out of my head, Morris Danks, who was actually in Vietnam during the war, spoke about his time in Vietnam, so it was good to have a local speaker at the service, and they also had a real bugle player on this occasion. On Sunday, I attended the Medina AGM, Medina Residents Association AGM, and Bill Toon and Ash Towns will be the co-chairs of the Medina Residents group. And I think that's pretty much it. There are no confidential items, so I declare the meeting closed. I wonder what time it is now. 6:42. Thank you for attending.